Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. A very good day, everyone. So I'm going to continue with the methods part 2. This is about value returning methods. So we have learned that we have two types of methods. One is void method, which is a method that doesn't return any value, and another one is value returning methods, which is a method that returns a value when you call the method. So this video is about value returning methods. On a certain occasion, a method must return a value after finishing its task. So when we call a method, the method do some calculation and it returns some value to the caller. So the return value are the result that the method has computed and returns it to the caller. So if a method returns a value, it can only return exactly one value. You cannot return more than one value. There is a little bit of difference between value returning method and void method. So in the method body, the body must contain a return statement at the end of the method. So the last statement in your value returning method must contain a return statement. So this return statement will result in execution flow to jump back to the caller and pass the value to the caller. So the syntax is given here: return and whatever value that you are going to return. So the expression can be variable, constant value, or expression. So the header, the next difference is that you have to specify in the header what is the data type that you are going to return. So before this, we use public static void, for example, public static void show message. So now for the value returning method, you have to write what is the data type that you are going to return. So for example, you are returning a double, so your method header will be public static double show message. So we have to specify the data type. And the data type in the method header must match with the data type that you have in the return statement. So we will see some example later on so that you can understand more. Okay, this is the example. So here we have public static double calculate area. And this calculate area method is accepting two parameters, which are double length and also width. So both parameters are of the double data type. So if you notice here, we have double in the method header. So here is where we can differentiate between the void method and value returning method. So for void method, last time we have used public static void. But now if you see here, we are using double. So why we use double? Because this method is returning a double data type of variable. So if you see in the method header, what we do here is that we declare one variable area, which is double data type, and then we calculate the area by using length and width, and then at the end you have a return statement. So if you still remember, just now I mentioned the return statement should be the last statement that you have in your method body, and only one value can be returned to the caller. So in this case, we are returning the value of area. So after you call this method, when you call this method, you're going to send a length and also the width. So based on that length and width, you are going to calculate the area. After you calculate the area, you are going to return the value of area to the caller. Okay, so since we are returning area, which is double data type, so that's why in the header of your method, you have to put double data type. So in this example, we have method determine achievement level, which is a value returning method, and it is returning a string value. If you notice here in the header, we have string, public static string determine achievement level, and it is accepting one parameter, which is integer mark. So what we do in this method is just to see what is the achievement level, whether it is good, medium, or low. Okay, so we have here if mark more than equals to 75 and less than 100, less than equal to 100, so the achievement level is good. Otherwise, if the marks is more than or equal to 50 and less than equal to 74, achievement level is medium. Otherwise, it is low. So we are going to see the achievement level based on the marks that we receive here. And after that, we are going to return the achievement level. So why do we use string here? Because the achievement level that we are returning is a string data type. So it is similar for the method header, for the variable declaration, and also for the data type that we are returning. The value of variable that we are returning is holding string. So that is why you use here as a string. So as a conclusion for the value returning method for the body part is that the difference is in the header of your method, where you have to write the data type that you are returning, and it only has one return statement, and the return statement should be the last statement in your method body. So that is about the header and the return statement. So next we have to understand also about the method call. There is a slight difference between void method and also value returning method in the method call. Okay, for the method call, when you call the method will produce a value after it is executed. So once you call the method, you will do the calculation and you are going to return some value. So when you receive the value that written by the method, you have to do something with that value. You cannot just leave it as it is. So you have to declare one variable to grab the value that is written by the method. Or you can directly print out the value that the method returns. So examples given here. So you have the method call, calculate area. For example, you send 10 and 30. So this method call will call the method, and it will calculate the area and return back some value of which is the area of the what is it? Maybe a rectangle. So the value that is written by the method should be accepted by another variable here. So whatever value written by the method will be accepted in this variable double area. So similarly, we have here the next one. You have the method call, and you send the height and weight. And since it is a value returning method, you need another variable to grab the value that is written by the method. So if you see here, we have on your left hand side is one variable equal to the method name, and you send the values for the actual parameters. Okay, similarly, we have here determine grade, and you send 96 and you will get what is the grade. So the grade which is written by the method will be sent to this variable grade. Another example is to call method determine grade, and you are sending a mark, and the method will send to you, will return to you a grade, and the grade will be held by this variable grade. So otherwise, you can also directly print out the value. So for example, you have SOP, create message. So this will call your method, and whatever value written by the method will be printed directly. So either way, depends on the usage of your code and the needs of your code. Okay, if void method, the one that we have learned earlier, we just have this part. We just call the method, and we just have to send the parameters, or if there is no parameter, it's just the empty bracket. But in value returning method, it is compulsory to you to have one variable on your left hand side to accept whatever value that is written by the method, or you can directly print the value in the SOP. Okay, let's see this example of value returning method. So we have class part-time salary. So here is our method which is named as calculate salary. So this calculate salary is a value returning method. If you see here in the method header, we have public static double. So when you see double here, meaning this method is returning a double value. And the method is also accepting one variable or one parameter, which is hours work. This hours works is integer data type. So what we do in this method, so we have the declaration and initialization of total salary. And then we have total salary equals to hours work times 100. So actually we are going to calculate the total salary based on the hours work. So 1 hour is 100 ringgit. So we are going to multiply hours work with the 100, and then we are going to return the total salary. So if you notice here, total salary is double data type, and we are returning this total salary. That is why your method header is a public static double. Okay, that is our method. And then we have our main method. As usual, we have scanner scan because we are going to ask input from user. So here we have instruction to the user, please enter hours work. So when you run this code, it's going to ask you how many hours you have worked, and you're going to read the input, and the value will be kept in variable hours. So after you got your value in variable hours, then you have a method call here. So this method call, we are calling method calculate salary, and we are sending the value of hours key in by the user just now. So meaning you are calling method calculate salary and you are sending hours to hours work. Okay. So if you notice here, we use variable name as hours in the main method and hours work in the header of your calculate salary method. So it is optional whether you want to use similar name or you can also use a different name. But once you use different name in the header of your method, you have to make sure that the value or the formula that you use inside the method should be similar to the one that you declare in the method header. If you declare here as hours, so here should be hours. Now we are using hours work, so here we use as hours work. Otherwise, you are going to get error. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to know. So here is the method call. You call calculate salary and you are sending hours based on user's input just now. So whatever value kept in this variable hours will be copied and sent to the method. So after that, your method is going to calculate the salary. So hours work times with the 100, and it's going to return a total salary. So this total salary will be copied and sent to the caller just now. So in the caller, you are going to have one variable salary. So this salary will hold whatever value that you have calculated in the method. And after that, you are just going to print the value. Your salary is RM percent point to F. So we want to format the output. So what we print out here is salary. So this salary is actually this value. So whatever value which is written by the method will be printed here. Okay, if you notice here also, I'm using different variable names. So this variable is only applicable within this method, and this variable is applicable inside this main method. So it doesn't matter whether it is similar or different. If you want to use similar variable names, here you should declare for example, if you want to use total salary, here also total salary, you have to declare in this in this method, and inside this main method also you have to declare because they are accepted as two different variables, even though their names are same. Because whatever variable that you declare inside the method will be only accessible through this within this method, and whatever variable you declare in this main method is only accessible within this method. So whatever variable that you declare here will be accessible here. Whatever variable that you declare inside this main will be accessible here. Okay, so finally when you run this code, for example, if user give you hours work as 30, okay, what will happen is that we have variable hours. So let's say user give you 30. So 30. So when you call method calculate salary, you're going to send 30 to the method, and hours work will hold value of 30. So what will happen next is you are going to calculate the total salary based on the hours work. So 30 times 100, you're going to get 3,000. So this 3,000 is whole by total salary. So total salary will be 3,000. So this salary value will be 3,000, and finally you are going to get the value. Your salary is RM 3,000 ringgit. Okay, hopefully you have got some idea how the value returning method works, how it goes, how it sends the value and do the calculation and return back to the caller. Okay, we will see another example, value returning method as well. So here we have class age group, and then we have method string determine age group, and it is accepting one parameter which is age, and this method is returning a string. Okay, so what we have here is that an if else statement. So if age is less than 9, age category is equal to children category. Else if age less than equals to 19, adolescent category. Else age category is an adult category. And what we are returning here is the age category. So if you see here what is the data type of age category, it is a string. So that's why your method header is a string data type. In the method header, you have string data type. Okay, next, we have the main method. So here we have scanner, object creation, and then we ask input from the user. Please enter the age. So here we read input from the user. Age is whatever value given by the user. So here we have a while loop. If you still remember, while age not equals to -1. So when you see -1, so it is a sentinel loop. So this loop will be executed until user give you -1 to stop the loop. Okay, so inside the loop, what we have the method call, and after that we print out and then we ask input again. So this is what we are going to repeat until user give you -1. Okay, what will happen is that when user give you age, okay, let's say we have variable age here. Let's say user give you 2. So if user give you 2, when you come to the while loop, so age not equals to -1, so this while loop will return to you true. So when it is true, you go inside the loop. So here when you see, we can see here that we have the method call. So we are calling method determine age group and we are sending age. Okay, so meaning we are sending 2. Sorry. Okay, determine age group, you are calling this method and you are sending a copy of number 2. So what we have in the method is that we will compare whether the age is less than 9. So 2 is less than 9, this will return to you true. So you are going to have age category as children category. Okay, so this children category will be returned to this variable. So if you notice here, I'm using similar variable names here. Age category inside the method and also inside the main method. Okay, so once I get the children category, so now I'm going to print what is the age category. So here I will get children category. And then the program will ask input again to enter the age. So you are going to read the input again. And you are going to repeat the method call. You are going to repeat the if else and return the value. Print out the age category until user give you -1. So after user give you -1, then you will print this you choose to stop and thank you. So you will see the sample output here. First user give you 2, so you will print out children category. So next input user give you 17, so you get adolescent category. So next one user give you 40, so you get adult category. And the last one, your user's input is -1. So here you are going to stop the loop and you are going to print. You choose to stop. Thank you. So that is how this example will be executed. Okay, hopefully you have got some idea. So we can also use method call inside looping. So it depends on the needs and use of your code. So it is not only once, you can repeat it again and again. Okay, so hopefully you have got some idea. Let's try our exercise. Okay, these are some exercise for you. You can try to answer them. You have to write the method header and method call for each of the following instruction given. Okay, there are 4 instructions here. Try to do it. And then you are given with this class. In the question, you have to change this code into 3 methods where you will have main, calculate volume, and also calculate area. So it's just for you to practice on how to separate your codes into chunks of code. So hint given is here is in the main method, the variable radius and constant pi is declared and initiated. Then the main method calls value returning methods, which are calculate volume and calculate area. At the end, the volume and area of the sphere is displayed in the main method. So if you see here in the code given, we only have main method, and we have the declaration of radius, pi, and we are calculating the volume and area of a sphere. So everything is done in the main method. So after calculation, you are printing the volume and area. So everything is done in the main method. So now your task is to separate this into 3 methods. You will have main, calculate volume, and also calculate area. Okay, all the best. Hopefully you can do it. We will continue a little bit more about method overloading. Okay, so take your time to do this exercise and try to understand how value returning method works. Okay, I will continue with the method overloading. So what is method overloading? It is about having more than one method with the same name but different parameter signature. So we call this as method overloading. So parameter signature is the number and the types of parameters. So we say that 2 methods are having different parameter signature if both methods have a different number of formal parameters, or if the number of formal parameters are the same, then the type of the formal parameters must be different. So for example, if you have method show message, okay, show message, and the first method has 2 formal parameters, and the second one should has if the second one also have 2 parameters, so the data type of the formal parameters must be different. Okay, let's see some example here. Okay, we have method ABC. So all of these are method ABC, but the number of parameters here are not the same. So the first one is without parameter. The second one is only with one parameter of integer data type. The second one is with one parameter also, but the data type is different. So this is also accepted as method overloading, even though they have one parameter, but the data type are not similar. Okay, the next one is method ABC with integer x and double y. And the next one with double x and integer y. If you see here, both has and another one. And we have 3 with 2 parameters, char x and double y. So these 3 are having 3 parameters. But if you see the data type are not same. This one is integer double. This one, the next one is double integer. The next one char and double. And the last one as well, 2 parameters are having 2 parameters, and the data type are not the same. So here is string and integer. So we call all of this as method overloading, where you have a method with a similar name, but the parameters are different. So here it is exactly different because it is not similar data type. This 4 we have 2 parameters but different data type. So all of these are method overloading. So let's see one example of code. So we have class exam, and here we have main method, and after that we have double result, Here also is a result. So we have method, result, two result methods, but the difference is that we have here we have two parameters, and here we have only one parameter. Let's trace what happens actually. So here we have a variable declaration in the main method. We initialize the values for test 1 equals to 75, test 2 is 68, and we also have total test 1 and total test 2. So here is just to print exam results. If you notice here, this is the method call. So we are calling method value returning method named as result, and we are sending value test 1 to the method. And here is on your left is the variable that will accept whatever value returned by the method. Okay, if you notice here, we are calling method result and we are sending one parameter. So how are you going to decide which one are you going to execute? Because you have two result methods here. So it is depending on your number of parameter that you are sending. So in this case, you are sending only one parameter. So you need to go to the method that has only one parameter, that only accepts one parameter. So we are going to send test 1. So test 1 is 75. So 75 will be sent to variable I. So what we do in this method is 75 plus with 5. You are going to get 80. And you are going to return the bonus mark. So this 80 will be kept in variable bonus mark, and you are going to return 80 to the caller. So why do we have double in the method header? Because bonus mark is a double data type. So in the header, you also have to use double. So 80 will be sent to the caller, which is total test 1. So 80 will be held by total test 1, and you are going to get your first output as total test 1, 80. Okay, the next one, you see there is another method call. Here also we are calling value returning method with the name of result, and you are sending test 1 and test 2. So in this case, you are going to search for the method result which accepts two parameters. So here you are going to call this method, and you are going to receive two parameters here. So test 1 is 75 and test 2 is 68. So test 1 75 will be copied to the variable I, and 68 will be copied to variable J. So based on that, you are going to calculate the final mark, and you are going to return the final mark. So here final mark is declared as double. So that's why in your method header also you declare a double. So whatever value that you get here, you are going to return to total test 2. And after that, you are going to print out what is the total test 2. Okay, that is how it works. When you find a method overloading where you have more than one method with the same name, then you have to decide which one you are going to execute based on the number of parameters that you are sending. So if you are sending with one parameter, you go and execute the method with one parameter. Otherwise, if you are sending two parameters, you go and search for the method with the two parameters. If suddenly when you call the method, you are sending three parameters, then you are going to get error because there is no method which has three parameters. So both should be compatible. Otherwise, you are going to get error and you are not going to be able to run your code. Okay, hopefully you have got some idea about method overloading. So you can do exercise so that you can understand more. Thank you.